We are Nikolas Schmid-Pfähler and Carolin Liebl, and we are an artist duo based in Germany, in Offenbach. And our work we want to show at ZIAF is Vincent and Emily.
Yeah, it's a robotic couple or a pair of robots, and the title, Vincent and Emily, is already a little trap for the visitors to read a little history by only hearing the title. We are working as a duo since 2012, and we are mainly building installations with electronics that are mostly interactive or somehow reflecting how humans interact with technology in general. And with this work, what's very special, it is the third version of it. So we already built two other versions. The first one in 2012. It is also our first work as a duo.
And the second one in 2013, and the last one in 2018.
So the concept is still the same. They are programmed to find each other. So they cannot move around, but they can move their head 360 degrees. And they have both sensors. The first version has a normal camera, and the other partner or both partners have an infrared light. So they can see a very bright point in the room and know this is my partner. But there are always also other very bright points, like a light, or if a visitor is wearing something white in front of a dark background, it looks the same because the sensors are very not perfect, like our human abilities too, not always perfect. And so they are all the time distracted by everything surrounding them. They cannot fulfill their purpose that we artists gave them. And we see this as a very human characteristic to being distracted by everything that is going on, and it's always hard to focus. Our intention was to let this very open, to have a very simple way of showing this kind of coming towards each other or going backwards, only gestures like in a theater. That's why they don't have really a body or a face that is showing emotions. And also the body is, you can look through, it's only 3 very thin metal sticks. It shows like there's air to put in own ideas of how their emotions are.
The first version we built from this idea is a very little shaky one, and we love it because it is somehow the state that we are at this time. But it's not that we love to exhibit it because it always breaks and we have always to repair things. And she thought that sad if we change the robot to work better, because then we will lose some history of it. So that's why we start to make new versions. Especially in the first 2 versions, the visitors are not afraid of the robot, so they can come close and do the robot, and it's so easy for them to understand, like natural. But we also thought about that, what can we change to get more distance, that it's not like a pet, more like a stranger thing, but with the same concept. That's why we developed the new dimension of the robot. So now the new one, then that one we wanted to show in Sapporo is a bigger one.
Yesterday we've been talking about the difference between the smaller version and the bigger one, We thought it's like having a little pet. Only by its size, you already think it loves you or it is more trustly. But like a giraffe, the one with the tall head, it's really strange to you and you don't know how to interact with it. But it can tilt down its head towards you and it shows obviously more closeness. And this is a little bit like with Vincent and Emily. They are now taller than humans. So if they are up, they can only look at each other. But if they come down, they can on purpose come to the visitors. Vincent and Emily was our first work together, and we were honestly surprised by the reactions of the viewers that they are so willingly to read emotions and intelligence into the robots. Even to be true, there is no intelligence. It's very simple and they cannot learn, so they always stay as stupid as they are. Because they are two, it's already like they are able to interact with another being. Visitors often use them to project their own expectations and feelings onto them. Especially if they are coming together, it's like a couple that is focusing on each other and showing each other attention and love. But if they don't do it at the same time, there's always the idea of jealousy, or maybe one is angry about the other robot. That's why it's paying attention to humans. With our next work, we wanted to peel off all the layers that we think are hiding the core, like how we see technology. So the next work was only one, and it also was more cryptically shaped. It didn't remind to a human and also not really to an animal, maybe more an organ or maybe a worm, not really. With Vincent and Emily, we used motors, so you could see how the force is transported through the different parts and how the movement is made. But with the next one, we chose to use electromagneticity because this is a force that humans cannot sense. Also, electricity they cannot sense, even if it hurts. But with magnetics, it's even more strange because there's a force between two parts that is pulling them apart, but if you put your hand in the middle, you don't feel anything. So we built a robot that is moving itself only by electromagnets. And from that on, we kept losing parts. So this robot had coils where the wire was winded on, and for the next ones we removed the core of the coils, and still it could move only by running electricity through its whole body. And the next step was even more without material. We only use a wire that if you heat it up by letting electricity run through, it moves by itself in a very random way. So we couldn't control the movement anymore, but we only had to connect electricity to it. And this was a long research to get closer to basics of electricity, how we react to it or how we feel about it.
When we heard that we will exhibit in Sapporo, we were so happy because we never exhibit Vincent and Emily in Asia before. And I think the culture there is totally different from the European culture we know. So for us, it was so interesting to go there and show the robots and make studies on how the relationships developed.
As we mentioned, the robots refer to our own human feelings or expectations, how we think they are. We have the feeling that this is like the roots that they are connected to because they are man-made and they are still showing us our own characteristics. And still they are already like artificial life, or they seem artificially intelligent. So they are reaching out to the clouds, that the future that we are somehow developing towards, or options that we have. And they are in between somehow because they remind us to stay in the middle, so to be reminded to the roots, but also think carefully about the future and how those robots should be if they are really intelligent.
And of course, they are not intelligent, so it's always about the feeling, how the people react and how the people feel. So they start to think about the future and the artificial intelligence, but the robots don't have it. That's why it's connected, because of the connection the people start to make.
The robots, they are both, or they should focus on each other, but they are distracted by the life, the natural life around them, by humans and animals. And we see a similarity to humans paying more attention to the entertainment technologies and communication technologies than to the human companions around them. So we have this moment of the robots are showing attention to the humans, but the humans are showing attention to technology.
When a pandemic starts, for us it was, I think for everyone, was a really strange thing, because all ways, are just broken. So you cannot live like before. All our exhibition was closed. We cannot go to Japan. We have a residency in Liverpool and it was cancelled. Here we have a big solo exhibition in Germany. After opening, it was closed. So for us, it was like all the things we want to do, we know how to do, they broke away. And on the other side, there are also jobs, like because we have some jobs where we live from, they also broke away. So for us, it was the big shock what to do and how to deal with this new situation. But as I think, especially artists are really prepared to deal with new situations, because we have to do it all the time, and we start to see the new possibilities this pandemic gave us. And I think at the end, we have a really good year so far.
Yeah, without having exhibitions and being traveling all the time, we could work very concentrated on things that we wanted to do, and it was very productive in the end. And in general, we learned, or maybe all people around the world, as we are using more technology to stay in contact, we are valuing more the real human contact, because this is the thing we are missing, and it's not the same via technology. And this is the thing why we miss exhibitions and conferences a lot, because even if they are held online, you can keep in touch with the people you already know, but it's hard to really get to know other people. And yeah, this is something very important for us as artists, and this is truly sad to not being able to meet new friends and artists, thinkers and curators around the world.